Mambo vipi? Okay, mimi nimefurahi kwanza kupata nafasi hii, pia kuweza kukutana na watu. Oi, Mungu wangu. Unajua wengine tumezoea kuimba tu. Kwenye kuongea kidogo, yes? Nitoe miwani. Okay, hapo vipi? Sawa. Sawa, mimi kwa upande wangu naweza nikaongelea experience yangu kidogo. Haikuwa nzuri, lakini vile vile haikuwa mbaya sana. Ila njaa, jamani, njaa.
She says, let me talk about my experience. It wasn't that good or that bad, but it's because of I was just hungry.
Kwa kweli, kwa sababu wengine ndio hivyo, kazi zetu ni muziki, na muziki ndio kila kitu. Kwenye upande naongelea wa kupata chakula, kulisha familia, kuendeleza vitu vingine ambavyo vinahusisha jamii. Lakini kipindi cha COVID,
for some of us in life, music is our life, so we have to do everything for music. So
yeah, so kipindi cha COVID ikawa ni ngumu kidogo kwenye kupata kazi na hivyo vitu. Tumeshindwa kusafiri. Kwa mfano mimi nilikuwa nashindwa kusafiri kwa sababu ya tulikuwa tumekatazwa mikusanyiko, of which ni kweli. Pia hofu ya familia, wengine ni kina mama, pia tuna watoto. Unaweza ukasafiri kwenye mikusanyiko ukarudi nyumbani ukashika watoto na vitu kama hivyo. So
during this COVID time, we were not supposed to travel, and you know some of us have children, so if you travel you have to pick your kids, so there were no gatherings as well, so it was a bit hard for us musicians.
Yeah, na kwa upande mwingine kwenye upande wa kurekodi, tunashindwa kwenda studio kurekodi kwa sababu ile mic tunayokuwa tunatumia tunakuwa tunashare watu wasanii tofauti, na huwezi kujua huyu ametokea wapi, huyu alikuwa wapi. Kwa hiyo pia ilikuwa ni mbaya kwa upande wetu. Kwa hiyo unajikuta tu unakaa nyumbani unashindwa kufanya kitu chochote.
It was also hard for us to go to the studios because in the studio you have to share mics, so it was a bit difficult as well to record.
Yeah, lakini kwa upande wa mazuri vile vile ilinipa nafasi ya kuweza kukaa karibu na mashabiki zangu, kwa sababu muda mwingi nilikuwa busy kwenye social media nikiweza kujadiliana vitu tofauti na mashabiki zangu, na vile vile niweka karibu pia na familia yangu, kwa sababu kipindi ambacho tuko busy tunazunguka kwenye show kurekodi, tunaenda huku, ilikuwa ngumu kwa mimi kuweza kuwa karibu na familia yangu.
But this particular time it gave me the sense of pride for my followers, because I use social media a lot, so I was really close to my fans.
Yeah, so hivyo ndo jinsi ambavyo nime experience kupitia kipindi cha corona. Na niweze tu kusema kitu kimoja, pia nilikuwa na hofu kwa sababu kulikuwa kuna maneno mengi kipindi ambacho tunaambiwa tupate chanjo. Kulikuwa kuna maneno mengi, mtakufa, mnakufa, kuna hivi, na vile vile pia ilinipa wakati mgumu kuweza kuwa convince pia wazazi wangu, kwa sababu wao ni watu wazima na asilimia kubwa waliokuwa wanaondoka walikuwa ni watu wazima. Kwa hiyo ilinipa pia wakati huo mgumu wa kuweza kuwashawishi shangazi, baba, mama na watu wengine ambao wamenizunguka kwa ajili ya kuweza kupata chanjo. Kwa hiyo
so it was a very hard time for me, because I had to convince my parents that I have to continue with music, but it was very hard because everyone was saying that only old people are dying, so I was very scared about my parents, dying. So that experience with music was very complicated for me.
Napenda pasikifani tofauti, sikutili moyoni, sikuachi leo na kesho peponi. I love you too, asante.
I heard that. Oh, should I stand? Yeah. Okay. Is this better? Okay. So I heard il y a les personnes aussi qui parlent français. Alors bonjour à tous. Je m'appelle Abigail Chams. Je suis une musicienne de Tanzanie, mais aussi la fondatrice d'un programme de santé mentale qui appelait The Talk. And so, yeah, thank you for the introduction. I'm a singer and songwriter and instrumentalist from Tanzania. And also I work very closely with UNICEF Tanzania as their mental health advocate. And I founded a youth program called The Talk, which aims to raise awareness around mental health issues. So COVID was a very interesting time, I think, for everyone, and everyone did suffer. They experienced it differently, you know, because we all live in different communities, in different ways, different routines. But I think it's safe to say, yeah. Oh no, okay. I'm sorry. Let me be a bit slow. Désolé. So yeah, COVID definitely did impact everybody's life in a different way, but I think it's safe to say that how we were all feeling and how we all responded to it was quite similar. So I'll just talk about me. Like, it was definitely a shock to everybody because unlike, you know, the common cold or chicken pox, it was something that nobody really understood. You know, like even the scientists in like the biggest institutions, they didn't understand what was going on. So I think for everybody there was just this anxiety where it was like, what's next? What are we supposed to do now? What should we do? What shouldn't we do? And the fact that there was this uncertainty, I think for everybody was just so, it made us all so anxious. So as a musician, obviously, aside from my personal life, I think musically, I had to kind of look back to my musical roots to get me through that anxiety and that pressure and that uncertainty. So it was a time for me where, although in Tanzania we really didn't do a lockdown, my family was very, very like, obviously we were like paranoid and scared, so nobody in the house was leaving, we were all working from home, all our classes were shifted to online. So the self-isolation and that disconnectedness from the world as well for me made me very anxious. So I had to run to my music, you know, playing the piano much more than I did before, playing my guitar. I wrote so many songs actually that'll be on my EP that's coming out next year were written in that time because it was a time where I really didn't have a choice but to kind of go back to me and my musicality to get me through it. But now, aside from that aspect of things, let's say my work, which was slowed down, but I do appreciate that moment because I was able to kind of bring out that creative part of myself. My personal and mental health was also in a, I wouldn't say in shambles, but it was pretty hectic because, like I said, I was really just uncertain of what was going on. I didn't understand what was happening, and I was just scared, you know? And me being a mental health advocate with the program that I have, I realized that so many young people that were already suffering from mental health issues like depression and anxiety, COVID was making it much worse. So I was like, what can I do? Because I can't even have programs where we can see people, where we can meet people face to face. So what I had to do now was kind of run to social media, you know, use the platform that I have to kind of try my best to spread the right messages and positive messages for someone out there that might be struggling in this time, you know. So I did a bunch of Instagram lives and tried to connect with other people to show people that you aren't alone in whatever it is that we were going through. Because like I said, as much as everybody was kind of affected in their own way, I think it was a time where like nations and the world in total were going through the same thing, and it kind of made us all support each other in a way, you know, whether it was through social media, through texting now, it kind of brought everybody together, you know, like it might not have been physically, but just emotionally, you know, through our phones and through social media. So it was definitely an interesting time. And it was also difficult, especially for me and my family, because in the time we actually did lose a loved one to COVID. You know, my aunt, who is like my second mom, because I practically grew up with, you know, she's my mom's sister, you know, and her husband, who's my uncle, and my cousins. We were all like a family, and it was a difficult time because unlike other situations, it was COVID, so we really just had each other, you know. And like I said, it was a time where you learn to appreciate family, you learn learn to appreciate your loved ones. You learn to appreciate life as well. And I got vaccinated because I just felt like it wouldn't just keep me protected, but also my family as well. And of course, with requirements to travel and etc., I definitely had to be vaccinated. So yeah, it was definitely an interestingly difficult time for me personally, for my career as well, for my family. But at the end of the day, I think it's not really what we were going through in that time, but the things that we got out of there, like just learning to appreciate the small things in life. Like now we can go out again, now we can be with our friends and our family and do the things that we love, and just learning to appreciate those things, yeah, and not take them for granted. So that was my experience. Yeah, thank you.
By the way, that one, yeah. I'm a media personality from East Africa TV. I have the #1 women's show in the country, if I should say so myself. COVID and how it affected all of us. I think Abby has explained it all, but then I will talk about on my side as a media personality. You know, in Tanzania we didn't have lockdown, as she said, and a lot of people were still going to work, myself included. I have a live show every Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. and the show had to go on. So I had to wake up in the morning and go to work amidst COVID and do the show, interact with everybody and go back. Of course, we all had to get tested, and we're tested after every, I think 3 months, and get tested and tested, which was such an ordeal to get tested all the time, because, you know, the test was a bit uncomfortable. But anyways, we all had to do that. We all had to take measures to make sure that we protect each other. And then we all had to do the show every day to remind people that there's COVID, and also educate them on how they can protect themselves and protect their loved ones. So that was a very challenging time for us, because you actually walking on eggshells. You can protect yourself, but you're not sure if another person is protecting themselves or they're putting you in danger. And also around that time in Tanzania, there were a lot of misconceptions about COVID as well. A lot of people did not have the right information, so they were talking about so many things about COVID and everything. So it was really hard to actually have like a common idea of what COVID is, or what COVID was at the time. So everybody had their own, everybody had everything that they read on social media. Everybody had a new story every day. So you're like, okay, is this the right information? Is this the wrong information? I'm sure, of course, there were information coming from the government and the Ministry of Health and everything, but then it was still a lot of gibberish going around. So as a media personality, my core role was to make sure that I get the right information to convey it to the public, and make sure that they understand that COVID is real and how they can prevent themselves. And also, while I'm doing that, I have to also make sure that I'm taking precautions to protect myself and to protect the people I'm around. Remember, I'm going to work every day and then I go back home. I have loved ones at home, and then I have also colleagues at work. So it was a very confusing, challenging, but also awakening time for all of us, especially me. I also lost a loved one during the COVID time. I know we still have COVID going on, but I lost a loved one then. My aunt passed away because of COVID. She had underlaid other diseases, so she got COVID and she passed away. So that was a very difficult time for our family. And also, my mother didn't really understand how serious COVID was, because well, she's born in a different era. So, and when back in the 2 years ago, there were so many things going on here, especially in Tanzania. We had a different government. There were so many things. There was a time where the country prayed, and then COVID went away. And my mother believed that COVID went away. So to bring her back, like, Mom, yes, we do believe in God, and God do heal, but then we still have to protect ourselves. So that was challenging for me. So I had to convince my parents to get vaccinated because it was important for them. They're old, and also they have underlying diseases, they have blood pressures and so forth. So I had to sit them down and actually tell them that, listen, whatever you guys believe, this thing is real and you have to get vaccinated just to put our minds at ease. Just get vaccinated, and then if you choose to believe whatever you want to believe, that I can't really do anything about it, but just get vaccinated. And they got vaccinated. I also got vaccinated, and 2 years later, we're here, we can be in this room, and even though there is still COVID out there, but it's not as severe as it was before, we thank God for that. And yeah, that's it. And thank you for having me here today.
Abigail Chams' sister, manager. Can you hear me now? Yeah. Okay. As I said, I'm Abigail Chams' sister, manager, director at a financial firm, and also founder of Ilivyopitia and Gabrielle's Home. As Abby mentioned before COVID, the country didn't have lockdown, but our parents took it very seriously. So they're very paranoid. We had to stay in, but also being now in the entertainment industry, you had to go to certain events, you had to go to certain concerts. So even as Boke mentioned, you had to risk your life and actually, head out. Personally, I never really took it seriously. As when it first came, it was just like, yeah, it's COVID. As much as the whole world was like a standstill, I didn't really take it seriously until, as Abby mentioned, we lost our uncle. And it was very personal. So that's when it really hit me, and I was like, whoa, this is actually serious. Like, this is life-threatening, and a lot of people are losing our lives. So we got vaccinated then. But in terms of, for instance, the financial firm, that was a bit difficult because it restricted mobility because the whole world was at a standstill. So we had to start thinking of how to work from home, how to, the mental health of the staff, how to communicate accordingly. But in terms of, for instance, Gabrielle's Home, which is an event company, obviously people couldn't really, do a lot. So I started thinking, okay, what can I do during COVID? So I started making like flu hampers or things that you can give someone that's not well, that had like all the essentials. And I started thinking of, okay, we got a sickness going on. How do I make it better? I started doing like private catering, because as much as we went on lockdown, there were also families who took it seriously. So I started doing private catering, and I just started thinking about how I can better my business in terms of, how I can better my business, because now, the world is different, and now thinking about the new normal. Yeah, but it was a difficult time, and it was great that I got vaccinated and the family got vaccinated, because it didn't just protect us, but it protected other people that we were with. And we had to travel. Abby being an artist, she had like concerts and stuff, so we had to obviously as well get vaccinated so that we can travel. Yeah. Thanks.
My name is Nancy Mata, or Miss Nancy Mata, the Reign Miss Africa Calabar Tanzania 2022, and also the Reign Miss Africa Calabar 2023 because of Corona. So yeah, thank you. My experience with Corona, for me, I think it's good. It wasn't bad because I had to stay with my Reign for 2 years. So yeah, practically I'm going to share with you my experience during Corona as the Reign Miss Africa. At first it was very, very heavy burden for me, because I won the title of Miss Africa on 2021, and I was supposed to represent the country on 2021, but I had to stay and wait for the new information from the organizer because of Corona, so we had to postpone the event. But during my reign, I remember I was given an assignment as Miss Africa to talk about agro-industrialization and effective agriculture back then. But due to Corona, I had a lot of plans to do, a lot of research to do all over the Africa, to go and learn how other countries practice agriculture. But I wasn't able to do so. I had to stay still and wait and wait. But as a queen, I wouldn't just stay still. Then I had to change the theme from the agriculture to the good health and well-being. So now my new, I got to have a new assignment and starting to use my platform, my social network to advocate on Corona. And practically, I remember here in Tanzania, we wasn't so very close in quarantine, because I remember our late president at least give us a chance to work, a chance to do our things, to gain our daily activities or our daily routine for getting our basic needs as a human. So for me, it was very new, because with my parents all over the Africa, I mean all over the Tanzania, we had to do this traditional thing like boiling the lemon and make sure that we fill the steam and open the lungs. So yeah, for me it was very new, and it was very good, because it was kind of new thing, but it was really helpful. And every one of us believed, like, if I'm going to do this, everything will be all right, or everything will be okay. But as a queen, I had to communicate with people and find a way to use my title and my platform as Miss Africa to give back to my society. And then I started initiative, and in my social network and all of my programs, I had to shift from the physical programs to the social network programs. And the issue, I found out, is like we need to take the new normal to be normal. The issue of sanitizing, it has to be normal for all of us. So that is the only way the people, they should understand and tackle the situation of Corona. The issue of washing our hands. We are not supposed to be told by the government that we need to wash our hands, we need to sanitize, we need to use face masks. So all of those, to me, I was about telling everyone who is listening to me, or everyone who is connected to me in my social network.
An R&B singer from here, Tanzania, and I'm signed by Sanaa Radio and Sanaa Nijambo, but also they are the Trace Tanzania here, led by Madam Beatrice. So I'll have to share my experience in 3 ways. The first one will be, how did this COVID-19 affected the business, the music business in general, on my side. First of all, here in Tanzania, digital marketing in music is really down. So we are not really depending on the digital money. We really depend on the shows, live shows, conferences like these ones, but also some special appearances. So we get income through these stuffs, where we really meet, where we meet a lot of people, and that's how we earn, and that's how we continue with this music journey. So this thing really affected everybody, and we had no shows. We had to find other ways to make money, and we really had to find some other stuffs to do, so as we can generate money. So because everybody was really locked down, and those big shows were not really done by that time, because people were really afraid. So we didn't get money at all. So we had to find these other ways to make money. We really have to concentrate on the digitals You know, we really have to find other people who really understand the digital business in music, so as they can really teach us and we can understand the business and get money and proceed with this journey of music. And of course, what we did for me, I got vaccinated. It's not because I wanted to. I got vaccinated because I had to travel. I had to go somewhere. I had to go to the other countries to make a media tour promotion to a song that I collaborated. So I really had to go. So I did the vaccination. But still, the corona affected us. As the time goes on, the corona affected the country. So what we did on this, as myself, what I did was, when I release a song, when I go to the radio, when I go to the interviews, I really have to tell people to vaccinate. You guys really have to vaccinate, so that they can all come to the show when we are saying that there's a show, so that we can get money. You see, so we did that, and we are continuing to do that, and we are telling all the organizations who are willing to support and you know, to make sure that this coronavirus is decreasing and maybe vanish. We want them to use the art to reach these people and let these people understand and know that vaccination is important. So the art reaches so many people. So if we can use art on such a campaigns, we can really get to those people who we really intend, because we are serving the societies, and we really have to deal with the societies through the art, through so many stuff. But I really want to emphasize on the art, because we can reach people very quickly. So yes, I categorized my experience in three ways. So I hope you guys understand me well. Njakuja Uganda basebo mulide. Njakuja. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much, Shebi. I am an upcoming musician, and I can say that COVID-19 introduced me to bittersweet things. Like, first of all, I lost a loved one. Don't worry, he's not dead. He was from Kenya. Mashemeji from Kenya, are you here? That lockdown locked my life. You'd see everybody I knew from Kenya didn't want to see me, and I couldn't see them. And eventually, I lost a lover. Yeah, no, I'm not single anymore. Yeah. But COVID introduced me to my music part, you know. Because of that sadness, sorrow, you just find yourself singing, Ameniacha, then it comes to be a song. Then I started my singing professionally during this time. So I'm glad this disease introduced me to music, but also I'm sad because I really loved that Kenyan guy. Yeah. So, not that all Kenyan guys are good, you know. No, it's just one, that's one. Only that one guy, okay? Only that one. And if he wants to come back, the doors are open. So, Kenyans, you still my shemejis. Okay, sorry. So, I'm here just to ask questions to the panelists. I'm comfortable sitting, but okay, I'll be standing because I've been told this is mandatory. Why do you people want us to stand? See us. Oh, see us. Okay, see us. Okay, my first question goes to the doctor. As a medical personnel, a professional, and I want to ask something. In this COVID period, people believed in herbs, African medicines. So as a personal in charge with the knowledge of medicines, how do you say that, is this really effective to cure the disease or to give relief to the sick ones? Welcome.
need to stand? Yeah?
No need. Please, just sit.
Okay.
Just sit.
I'll answer this question scientifically. According to the science, the herbal concoctions do not cure the disease. That's number one. According to the science, there are some elements in some, if you call them herbs, that have health benefits to the human body. They have specific nutrients, whether it be some enzymes or some chemicals, of which are very helpful to the nourishment and improve the general immunity of our bodies. For example, ginger. So there is that one side whereby, yes, some herbs can improve our health in general, but in terms of them specifically targeting COVID-19 to cure it, no. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As we have heard the doctor, it doesn't cure. Yeah, it doesn't cure, but it helps somehow. Somehow, yeah. So we should embrace and not embrace. But I think the most important thing is to get vaccinated. To the doctor, still, have you given vaccination to people so far? I think you have. And what are their perceptions when they come to have the vaccination? Are they motivated? Have they been motivated to get vaccination, or they have been forced because of the government rules, or it's just for their own willing? What do they say when they come to you? That, doctor, I've come to get vaccinated because of fear of the disease, or?
Okay. There are different people or different categories of people who come for the vaccine. I would say, okay, there's one category who are travelers. Travelers who need to go to Europe or different parts of the world, whereby their destination requires them to have the vaccine. So they come for the purpose of, well, my business or whatever it is that I'm traveling for is more important than me not to take the vaccine. So they're motivated by that. Not that they are motivated because they want the vaccine, but they're motivated because of the rules. Then there's another category of people who are taking the vaccine because, well, somebody told them to. Okay? And there's another category of people who take it because they want to take it, because they know and they see the benefits of taking it, and so they come and they ask for it and they take it without a problem. So, you know, like where I work, we've got different departments. So I've got the department of vaccination. So the patients who go straight to that department who want to get vaccinated or who want to travel. Then there are those patients whom we see in outpatient clinics or in the ward who ask you, you know, when they come for something else, completely something else, and then out of curiosity, they ask you about COVID-19 vaccinations, and you give them the information, you educate them, you tell them the pros and the cons of the vaccine, and they make the decision, you know. You encourage them, you tell them, look, these are the pros, these are the cons. My personal or my medical advice is take it, and the choice is theirs. And I could say 95% of them whom I advise end up taking the vaccine without any problems, without any complications. So that is a good thing.
Thank you very much, doctor. Whenever I sit close to a doctor, I feel like I'm in the hospital. Sorry to say that, though. My another question is for Shebi. Can you please pass the mic to Shebi? Shebi, you told us that you got vaccinated because you wanted to travel, yeah?
Sure,
If
sure.
the reason was not traveling, would you still take the vaccine?
Yes, of course. Because when you tell people to have the vaccine, you should also have been already vaccinated. So before telling people should be an example.
Yes.
So I think that point I did not explain it when I was trying to tell people my experience, but I did because I had to travel, but I understood that vaccination was very important, and I still believe it's important to everybody.
Yes, thank you. Boke, this comes to you. As influencer to many women out there, have you come across women which you influenced to go and get vaccinated, and yes, they did vaccinate after you influenced them? Yeah?
Yes, a lot of women, my family, my friends as well, because I was like, I am not getting close to you if you're not vaccinated. So,
really?
Oh yes.
So how would you know that I'm vaccinated?
Oh, we go together, hand in hand. I had a friend, I had a doctor friend that were doing the vaccinations. I'm like, I will.
A physician and also a public health specialist. And I'll give you maybe two experiences. A personal experience and also, in terms of the field where I work. So my personal experience, the first time I heard of COVID-19, I remember I was heading to work, and usually when I drive, I like listening to the radio, especially BBC. And you could hear them talking about this novel virus coming out of China. And the moment that they mentioned that they noticed or they had the first human-to-human transmission, I came to understand that this was a trigger that something bad is going to happen, something big. So, like my colleagues and I would discuss, we're like, okay, this thing could go out of hand if they don't take care of it in China. And, well, we know what happened. So, around September 2020, my wife and I, we went to baptize our daughter, and a few days later I started to experience something strange. All of a sudden I couldn't smell or taste anything, nothing whatsoever. My wife is in the perfume business, so she'd spray perfume, I couldn't smell anything. Food, I couldn't taste anything. And I was like, okay. Being a medical personnel with knowing how COVID is, I was like, okay, I think this is it, So there was a hotline which the government had given out that you call in and, like if you feel you have symptoms, you call in and you discuss with the medical personnel. So I did drink it, and she made it very heavy to the point that when she would make it, she would cough, like it was that strong. But I could not smell anything, I could not taste anything, I just drank the thing. Anyways, a few days later, my wife develops a fever, and she's coughing. And I'm like, okay, I think you also have it. So, and we have a baby at home. So I'm like, okay, this is scary. Anyway, results came back positive. So we just said, okay, take it at heart, because knowing the symptoms and the way they started, I felt I was in a good position to recover. And I did recover. My wife, after a few days, also recovered. Thank God our child showed no symptoms whatsoever. We thank God for that. Anyway, that was our experience, my personal experience. As a medical personnel, you are the front line in the hospital. You don't know who is coming in with what. This is a time where we have got this novel coronavirus. It mimics any other upper respiratory tract infection, So you have to be able to discern and distinguish whether this is a suspect COVID case or not. Now, when you are living in an environment where there's already a society spread or a community spread, then it becomes, extra difficult to discern. So, what happened in many hospitals around the world is hospital facilities became very congested with patients, to the point that they would turn patients away, those who were relatively okay, you know. They were sick, yeah, but they had mild symptoms, so they would tell them to go home and just, you know, wait at home and hopefully recover at home, you know. So pretty much the same situation you had to work with in our hospitals. Patients would come in, you know, people would think like, okay, COVID has come in and somehow every other disease has stopped happening. No, people still get sick from other diseases of which you have to manage and treat, plus COVID as well. So it was an overwhelming time for us, you know, emotionally. It was stressful. You had to work extra hours and you had to do your best to save lives, especially in a situation whereby there is no cure. You don't know what the treatment protocol is because it kept changing depending on what the researchers would tell you. You know, try this, try that, try this, try that. But thank God we reached a point whereby it became manageable and patients, you know, decided to survive. If you catch it early and you treat the patient early with certain medications, patients were surviving, and we thank God for that. So, you know, also another thing, you know, especially amongst us young people, many young people would come and they'll say like, you know, I'm young, I'm healthy, I don't need to get the vaccination, you know. And I'm like, yeah, I personally believe in free will. People have the right to decide what they want to decide for themselves, you know. It's your body. But as a medical personnel, this is my advice to you. Take the vaccine. Okay, there are different vaccines. Here's the information. You can try this one, you can try this one, you can try that one. Which one you prefer according to what you think you can handle, it's your choice, but take the vaccine. It saves lives, okay? Encourage your parents and your family members to take the vaccine as well.